The UMD men's hockey team finishes their regular season this weekend. Their conference tournament is next weekend, but they'll wrap things up with a doubleheader with Colorado College. But before the game, many heavy hearts tonight. A moment of silence and a video tribute to the man synonymous with Bulldog hockey. Dale Hoagie Hoganson, a banner with his image and name, now hangs in the rafters. He had some shirts with "Let's Go" hanging around as well. Adam Johnson, Remembrance Night as well, a former Bulldog who passed away a few years ago. But on the ice, a sleepy start in this one. The Tigers strike first. Mats Lindgren randles the cage and the puck rolls in. The first shot attempt for the Tigers puts UMD behind the 8 ball. They would struggle to get out of it, but Ethan Dahlmeyer, starting in place of Adam Guyon, he picks up the save. Only 10 shots to save in the first 2 periods. Third period, UMD's power play expires on the 34th shot. Scott Truman redirects the puck and ties the game. The senior transfer on senior weekend comes through, but Colorado College would respond with 3 unanswered goals. But we'll be back tomorrow night for the finale for both teams. Quick note, Scott Sandlin noted while maybe the Bulldogs are in good position to perhaps clinch a tournament berth, it's equally as important to finish the season strong. And he said, you know what happens now is going to affect us later. So not the greatest start, but hey, got tomorrow to finish things off strong.